Dear Mr. Brandis, this is the day to wish all good future accomplishments and success to Brandis Investors Limited. Naturally, I am complimented by your statement that the new firm will be operated along Graham principles. Actually, I believe that this is an excellent time to launch an enterprise of this sort, and I'm confident that your partners will be well pleased with the results. Sincerely, Benjamin Graham, March 1st, 1974.
Ben Graham changed my life dramatically. It was my introduction to exactly the rigorous analytical process I was looking for. It's based on seeking value in real wealth-producing companies. And this would be the basis for Brandis Investment Partners.
It took a lot of courage and conviction to do that at that time. Inflation was way up, and the energy crisis was in full force. Value was seen as a relic. It was something that just doesn't work in modern markets.
And whether it's out of favor right now or was out of favor many years ago, these are cycles, and in the long term, people will come back to value because it makes sense, because it's logical, and because the behavioral aspect of many people in the street and in the markets will give us those opportunities now and in the future.
Brandis Investment Partners opened its doors on March 1st, 1974, in a small office in Del Mar, California. Success didn't come overnight. It took time before Charles's hard work and dedication to value principles made headway.
The basic principles of Graham and Dodd investing, which is otherwise known as value investing, have been around since the 1930s. Unfortunately, Graham didn't provide a roadmap on how to build a successful investment firm.
It took a lot of time and effort to rally clients behind the idea of long-term value investing.
Brandis joined a relatively quiet collective of like-minded investors who were obtaining superior results, and not by happenstance nor through complicated magic bullets. Instead, their success was made through fundamental classic value investing.
We've been working on our application of value and refining our process and our technique, both in the United States and globally, for the past 40 years. And I think we've been successful in large part because we have an organizational structure and an investing culture that aligns very well with value principles.
Brandis Investment Partners recognized very early the importance of looking globally for undervalued companies. Among its first non-U.S. were Hong Kong, Mexico, and the Netherlands, all based on the principle that when you're looking at a business from ground up, the soil it sits on comes secondary in the selection process.
We look at ideas and opportunities in many different countries. We do that to capitalize on mispricing based on either political factors, company-specific situations such as competition or regulation. And we can do that in many places. It could be Japan, Brazil, Spain, or the US, because we're capitalizing on the same concept, which is the market is inefficient.
I mean, we weren't focused on international. We were looking for value and believed this could and should take you anywhere in the world.
Not only are investment strategies focused globally, but our clients come from all over the world as well. Our mission is one of pursuing excellence for our clients, both in the retail and institutional space.
When you're a part of a financial complex, you inevitably run into conflict about the short term. That's why all these years, Brandis has and will always remain independent, as difficult as this can be during challenging markets.
And I've sat in a lot of meetings over the years where I've heard Charles ask the question, how are we thinking differently about this particular investment than the mainstream? And I think this willingness to be different, to go against the grain, to be truly long-term in the way we think about our investments is an enormous advantage for our clients.
If you really want to take that step back, challenge the status quo, develop critical thinking, and make objective decisions.
Head of our sales and marketing walks out of the office and he flashes 500 points. Well, wow, that's a lot. Walked back in. And what was the office like? Well, the office was quiet and contemplative like it always is.
To be successful with value, you have to stay calm and you have to stay focused on value when most people are panicking.
It's one thing to study Ben Graham and have a good understanding of security analysis, quite another to apply it consistently and without hesitation. Everyone in investing talks about discipline, but that word comes nowhere near the conviction you need to be a true disciple of value.
Value really takes a specific temperament with a long-term focus. It's not just an investment style, but a mindset.
We always start with the question, what is this business worth to a long-term investor? And we really only pay attention to short-term price movements to the extent they allow us to buy businesses at meaningful discounts to what we believe they're worth.
Our offices are not only far from Wall Street, but we don't have MSNBC blaring from every corner, and we don't have a ticker tape circling around our desks. We try and do everything we can to promote a long-term perspective instead of that short-term Wall Street mindset.
For us, the main risk is loss of value at the company level. And so we spend a lot of time thinking about risks to the companies that we invest in, and we then try to manage those risks by diversifying in our portfolio.
For a value investor, risk is the permanent loss of capital, which is why you care so much about what price you pay.
In the long term, that is what will drive returns. What a business is worth and how much you pay for it. That are the two most important things in investing.
Whether they are fiduciaries investing to meet their short and long-term pension obligations, or the individual baby boomers trying to plan for a lifetime of retirement income, we believe value has a place in their portfolios today more than ever before.
We've been working at developing our practices and our procedures for the past 40 years. And one of the things that we've found to be very important is to implement a team decision-making process. And so we believe that working together as a unit helps us achieve better decisions and help us better implement that value.
It's not by chance that Charles chose to keep Brandis in San Diego, which is certainly a nice place to live and a nice place to visit, but it's also about as far away as you can get from the Wall Street scene and gossip.
We were in regular conversation. I was in regular conversation with an investment newsletter writer, very sophisticated one, very smart man. And one time he asked me, he said, "Glenn, does Charles even have a heartbeat? Because it doesn't seem like his emotions move at all for markets, and all the other investors I speak to will get too excited, and he just seems like he never moves beyond this." And I said, he absolutely does get excited. He gets excited about soccer, he gets excited about football, he gets excited about his kids. But about investment markets, he's very rational. He's very long-term thinking, and he's very patient. And so that's why he comes across that way.
One of the things that stands out to me is him sitting at his desk with these large value line books, which is really the way we got company information back then. And I realized that he had a big passion for investing, that value was something that ran deeply in the culture. And it inspired me, and it had a big impact on me. It made me want to get similarly involved in the business and the culture and value investing.
So I asked him when he was in high school, what were his plans for the future? What did he want to be when he grew up? And thinking he might say he wanted to be a legendary investor, he said, "No, I wanted to be in a rock and roll band." But he laughed and he said he went to the school music department, they handed him a clarinet, and they enrolled him in the marching band. And I think that everybody at Brandis, I responded by saying everybody at Brandis is really grateful to that teacher for her inspired choice of handing him a clarinet.
After 40 years, I'm still very much sticking to value because it makes sense, it's fundamental, and it works.